middle of their pre-match dance routine. Let's take a look at the way the two sides line up. First of all, the Wolves. They have former Saint Alan Hunt at fullback, Smythe, Sibbett, Toakoilov, Jamie Stenhouse, Briers, another former Saint, and Alan Langer. He's the captain. The forwards, Martin Masella, David Heighton, Danny Nutley, Steve McCurry, Gary Mercer, and yet another former St Helens player, Dean Busby, is at loose forward. 2 in a row they have won over Easter. Kidwell, G, Ulstead and Wood are on the bench, and the coach is Darryl van de Velde. Thankfully the rain has stopped, the sky has cleared, and St Helens will be playing in black tonight. Anthony Stewart is at fullback, Dwayne West, Steve Hall, Paul Newlove, Anthony Sullivan, Tommy Martin and Paul Wellens is at scrum half. No Sean Long. Sonny Nicol, Kieran Cunningham, Big Wayne McDonald, Chris Joint the captain, Peter Shields and Paul Sculthorpe, formerly with Warrington. And the bench, Tim Yonkers, Vila Matautia, John Stankovic and Mike Bennett. The coach is Ian Millward. So here come the Saints, back-to-back champions of course. They have never been beaten against Warrington in the Super League era, and this is the way their season lines up at the moment. Their only defeat was against Bradford on the opening weekend, the draw last Friday at Wigan. Entertainers of the game, worryingly, though, they have conceded 23, having scored 31. Typical Saints. Paul Newlove is back to his best this year, and Tim Yonkers is the top tackler. He's had a fine season so far. Out comes Chris Joint and the champions from St Helens. Great travelling support for the Saints. This is a local derby, of course, not too far away. They've come down the road. Now the Wolves, despite their successive wins over Easter, still next to bottom of the table. They're 11th. Successive ones over Leeds here last Thursday, Halifax on Monday, appear to have turned their season round. Modest try scorers by comparison to their visitors, and it's the second worst defence in Super League. Try poachers Ian Sibbett, Toa Koilov and Danny Nutley inevitably is the top tackler for the Warrington Wolves. And out they come, ready for the challenge, and a formidable challenge it is too tonight. They've now got 2 drums at Wilderspool. That will be music to some ears. Robert Connolly is tonight's big match referee here live on Sky Sports. It's the Saints who are going to get this game underway. They will attack from left to right, the men in black as they were at Wigan on Good Friday. Tommy Martin's kick-off. Underneath it, Martin Masella. Masella will run it back. Great chase from the kick-off by St Helens, led by the captain, Chris Joint. First tackle of the match. And Martin Masella knows that that will be coming at him all night long.
This will set the scene, and the defence is pretty solid there. They know that they've got a big game on next weekend. Will it affect them? Will their minds be on tonight? I think they will.
Martin Masella again, second touch of the football for him early on. Second tackle, it's Cunningham around him and Sonny Nicol. David Heighton was the dummy half. Lee Briers with the kick. Oh, it was a good kick too, because it forced the error from Anthony Sullivan. Bounced into the face of the winger.
Well, it's always difficult there with the ball bouncing up like that, but he really should have taken it. That is a big mistake. Not too happy, Ian Millward.
Well, he had a smile on his face for all of that.
Well, we'll see after 80 minutes whether it'll still be grinning, or will it be this fella here?
Well, we rarely see Darryl grin, but we shall see. He must be happier than he was 10 days ago, that's for sure. Koilov and Briers, good movement here. Oh, and that's a mistake from Sibbett. Knock on is given.
Well, so early in the tackle count as well. And Sullivan's mistake has been negated by Sibbett's knock on. Opportunity there, not the best pass though, it was just dipping down. Nervous start.
Both sides making a nervous start. This now is Anthony Stewart playing at full back tonight, with Wellens operating further upfield in the scrum half role, normally occupied by Long, but here is Joint, the captain. Great tackle by Alan Hunt.
It had to be as well, but where was the support there? They were very slow to support the captain.
Here they are now. This is Cunningham. Bounces one out of the way. Can't get away from the next one in. It's Danny Nutley all over the top of him, but Saints are 10 metres away. McDonald. It was a fantastic break, that from Joyce. Great offload. Here's Cunningham. There's the first try. Kieran Cunningham. It was made by the offload from Wayne McDonald. And Kieran Cunningham had the strength to just scamper his way over the line under the posts. First try to St Helens, created really by the Chris Joint break.
Joint going underneath, they went far too high there. Nutley was just fended off with ease. Masella couldn't get anywhere near to him there. No support, but look what Joint did. He got up and played the ball very quickly. But good work from the big prop forward, McDonald. Support was there. And the man of the moment, Cunningham, in for a vital try. Super stuff. Well, we wondered whether the Saints were going to be in the mood tonight. This dispels any doubts. They want the try.
And they get the try, and Tommy Martin adds the extras. It is 6 points to 0 to St Helens. A flying start for the team never to have been beaten by Warrington in the Super League era. They've won all 11 previous Super League meetings, and Kieran Cunningham has got them off to a dream start. 3 comprehensive wins last year against Warrington, and Darrell van der Velde immediately has his problems. Mistake from either side, but the team that capitalised most on the mistake was the champions, St Helens, who are in possession again.
Darrell van der Velde will be spitting chips over the fact that it was Saints winger Anthony Sullivan came up with the knock on, and then from the resulting scrum, Ian Sibbett, he also lost possession of the football. And you've got to really take your opportunities when one side gives you a gift like that. You don't give it straight back. Whoa, offside. Gave himself away, nothing you could do about it.
Offside.
Well, there's little doubt there.
It came off Peter
Shields'
chest
there, and well, nothing you could do about it.
Yes, Cunningham just simply had to collect the football, even though he was stood in front. He was offside. Masella here now for Warrington, 18 metres short of the line and trying to respond immediately. Highton, he hands it on to McCurry. He finds Langer. Great ball to Hunt. Big hole, 4 points. What a great try. It was a bullet pass, and Hunt saw the gap and sped in. Well, Cunningham got the first. His next-door neighbour has got the drums beating now at Wilderspool. It will be an interesting chat over the fence tomorrow morning.
Another mistake, but this is how to run onto the football. But Newlove, what on earth was he doing out there? He was nearly going into the car park to find where he'd parked. He was nowhere near about it. Alan Hunt, the high shot, you'll see how Hunt comes through. They'll use a dummy runner, but look at Newlove. And he knows he's got himself out of position, and the fullback says, "You little beauty, come on, they're back." Oh, we're up for a game again, as Bill said. They average over the last 5 games, the 5 meetings. There's been well over 70 points. That's the average. Sit back and enjoy all this.
Lee Breers to level the scores, and Lee Breers does exactly that. Warrington 6, St Helens 6. A high-scoring match was predicted. We're on course.
Look at that. Oh, dearie me, today. Paul Newlove, he came out and then into no man's land and zapped straight into it. What a great try.
Yes, level pegging, and 6.5 minutes gone. 6-all. They drew with Wigan, did St Helens 20-all Good Friday, then they beat Hull 38-34 Monday. They were 38-10 ahead with 10 minutes to go. Oh! Newlove has got another! Well, you can't take your eyes off this for a moment. Interception off Alfie Langer, and Paul Newlove comes up with a try. Well, he was at fault maybe for the Warrington try, but he's just made amends completely. That's try number 6 of the season. Well, we better get the abacus out, I think, for this.
Well, Ian Millwood would not have been pleased with the defensive effort, but he said, "I'm sorry, coach, I'll pay you back as soon as I can." Oh, and that was with interest. Alfie Langer threw the dummy. There was no way that Mercer was going to get that before this big fella, Newlove. He's repaid his coach.
Well, it was 34-47 last year. This for a 12-6 lead for St Helens. I don't think we're into the 10th minute yet. 12-6 to the champions.
Well, mistakes are plenty, but tries are plenty too. Superb position. Maybe that's what Paul Newler was looking for when he went for the ball where Alan Hunt came screaming through. He made no mistake from Alfie's pass. A gift.
It was a gift. And here we come again. Well, 18 points in 8 minutes. Don't think we've had an explosive start to a Super League match like this in all the years that the competition's been running. Peter Shields bouncing them out of the way, but can't get away in the end from Busby or Danny Nutley.
Oh, it's got to be a penalty there. It wasn't square. Busby was nowhere near square at the play of the ball.
Well, Cunningham doesn't worry about that.
No, but the official should.
Sculthorpe, oh, it's a bounce pass, but it's found Newlove on the bounce. And here they come again. Just couldn't get the ball away. Tommy Martin was hunting. This is the last tackle. Joint to Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe hacks it forward. Big chase on. Whoa.
Push it. He'd have forced it with Smythe. It'll be a drop out from underneath. Well, he's in scintillating form, isn't he, Paul Sculthorpe? That was outstanding play. He had to push it. Under pressure from Paul Wellens. Got a superb chip over the top from the loose forward, Paul Sculthorpe. Force the error. They'll get the ball back.
Alan Hunt had to jump over the advertising hoardings around the ground as well. Oh, on the bounce, and how on earth did he take that, Wayne MacDonald? He's about 6'10", and he was flat out when he took that kick off.
Well, he found a pothole somewhere out there, way down, and he just very, very slowly, like a snowflake, just dropped into his hands. Well, this is everything.
Shields now. Little flick pass. Wigan ahead 6-0 against Huddersfield at the JJB Stadium. And the referee will put the scrum down. He's going to have a word with his touch judge before deciding who has head and feet.
Well, why on earth Peter Shields trying to get this ball away in an impossible situation? And it is. I think it's a knock-on from Breers.
It went backwards off Shields is the verdict, I think. Well, Breers isn't too impressed with the report from the touch judge.
Head and feed, but he's got it right.
Hey guys, let's get forward.
Well, the Warrington forwards don't want even pack.
Here's Wellens. Trying to go through a little hole, but it was quickly filled. Breers was in there, and so too was Sibbett. Oh, well, it's an amazing start, this. We've had 18 points. We must have had about 18 errors.
Well, you can see the face there of Anthony Sullivan. Oh, come on, fellas. What do you expect me to do with this? Wasn't the best from Sculthorpe. And the amazing thing about it is, you can see that Smythe was just out of position. If he'd taken on the half volley, it'd have been over. Another try.
Toa Love is grounded by Steve Hall. Breers gets the ball away. Busby hands it on to Sibbett, and Sibbett, who got a hat-trick here against Leeds last Thursday, is off again. Jamie Stenhouse, the young winger at dummy half. Busby again. MacDonald and Nicol with the tackling. Warrington are 40 metres away from the St Helens line. Heightened onto Langer, onto Breers, who finds Hunt again. Hunt is trying to spin away from the challengers. In comes his neighbour Kieran Cunningham to finish him off with Chris Joint.
Just a little too flat there with the fullback Alan Hunt, but it shows you his enthusiasm. He wants to get involved in the three-quarter attack as often as possible. That'll be a penalty. Second attempt by Nicol.
Danny Nutley was trying to get to his feet and Nicol wouldn't allow him.
Just another little push there. Thankfully the official full in charge.
This is Martin Masella, who is doing really well just now for Warrington, and so is this fella Gary Mercer. Great signing by Darrell van der Velde when the tragedy struck the Nickow family recently. Lovely ball from Langer to Hunt.
Ooh, close.
So close.
That could have been deemed as a double movement, but he was short, so that's okay.
Langer here again. No way through on that occasion.
Superb delayed pass there from Alfie Langer.
Busby. McCurry.
Oh, that was forward.
Yes, I'm here.
He was supposed to be the dummy runner and he knows it. And Darrell van der Velde is far from impressed.
6 inch
That
forward.
is McCurry.
Steve.
We've got to sort it out. You'll see here that McCurry thought he was going to be the dummy runner.
Heads in.
Let's have a go at it, but the positioning of Robert Connolly, the referee, was superb. Interested to see how this young fella handles fullback, Anthony Stewart.
Well, he's been ever present so far this year in the St Helens side, admittedly 7 as substitute for Ian Millwood, who really does think the world of him. Offside Warrington now, too quick out of the blocks at the play of the ball. Quick tap by Saints taken, McDonald, on it goes to Joint, bounces away from Heighton, gives it width to New Love. That's a good tackle.
Ball and all from Toakoe Love, it had to be as well.
Rumoured in the press that Toakoe Love next year is on his way to St Helens.
I've heard he's going over the Pennines too.
Well, it's in all the papers today that St Helens have a pre-nuptial agreement with him as such.
Well. I know coaches are getting on well with their players these days, but I never thought the band of gold would ever enter it.
You know what I mean?
Swag of money, perhaps. Tommy Martin through the dummy and then over the top. That was touched by Breers, and I think that was intentional, so it should be head and feed to the St Helens side. Not getting the rub of the green at the moment, Lee Breers.
14 and a half minutes gone, 12-6 St Helens. Martin Masella down, injured, requiring some attention. What I'm talking about is that, of course, no Super League club is allowed to talk to a player in contract until, I think it's July the 1st, but there is allegedly an agreement in place that will take Toakoe Love to St Helens next year. I use the word allegedly. That's the pre-contract agreement.
Not a prenuptial.
Well, here we go. Hall, another try. You cannot take your eyes off this team for a moment, and Darrell van der Velde is furious.
Well, the mistake again from Lee Breers, who touched the football. It allowed them to have the possession at the scrum, and that was not a very good attempt from Alan Hunt. Steve Hall showing his strength, upper body strength here. Wellens offloads, steps in and out. That was excellent play there from Steve Hall. Lovely little step, and then he just pushed away the fullback who was off balance.
Steve Hall with the try, and fitting in really well. He missed Hull on Monday, but a try in the 35-12 win here in 1999 for Steve Hall. Would you believe, just been handed a piece of paper that says there have been 8 handling errors in the opening quarter of an hour here. Tommy Martin misses. He doesn't particularly enjoy the kicking role, Tommy Martin.
Well, super footwork here. Steve Hall in and out. You can see that the fullback Hunt was off balance. He just patted him away. Quite a simple try in the end, but it was full of skill. Twinkling feet.
The handling error count, by the way, is Warrington have made 5 and St Helens have made 3.
Furious pace, though, isn't it?
Isn't it? Oh, short kick-off. Good play. Brilliant pick-up by Hunt. Short little rubber kick from the kick-off.
It's got everything this game so far. The crowd are being entertained royally, I can assure you.
Here's Nutley now on the charge. Sculthorpe met him with Shields. Nutley goes down, he's wanting a penalty. The referee's patience holds. Eiton to Langer. Here is Breers. Beautiful ball again. Oh, what a good tackle that was by Cunningham.
Try saver, the fullback Alan Hunt, who's having an outstanding attacking game. He nearly was over for try number 2 for him.
Last tackle here, this set of 6. Mercer to Langer. Stab ball from Langer to the in-goal area. Collected by Sullivan, who's grounded in goal by Langer. Drop out forced from underneath the St Helens sticks.
The old stager still has got it, hasn't he? Not only content with the kick through, but he made sure. This was a beautiful effort there from Breers. They were caught napping. And this will not be pleasing Ian Millwood, the St Helens coach. Alfie Langer, he has been around his coach. Ian Millwood, sorry, for the St Helens coach, Ian Millwood knows that he's still got the skills as Alfie Langer. But he will not be happy with the fact that St Helens were caught cold at that kickoff.
Newcomers to the game might be a bit confused as to why we call him Alan Langer and his nickname is Alfie Langer. Are you aware? Because I've only just found out myself. They called him Alien Lifeform in Australia. It was apparently a television show down under.
Yep. And he looks a spitting image of him.
This is Sibbett now.
Which is not a compliment, I can assure you.
Well, he's a great player. Breers with a crossfield kick. This is a tester for Sullivan. He's dropped it. This is try time. Pick anyone from 3. Coe Love, I think, will take it.
Yeah.
Well, the referee has hounded it on to the video referee to check the onside, offside. Nothing wrong with the grounding. There were 3 of them after it. And Coe Love has certainly come up with the ball, so he's claiming it. This will prove it conclusively. But was he onside?
That's what they're looking for. Sullivan comes up with mistake number 2 for him. It was a well-weighted kick from Lee Breers, and I think he's all right. Ooh, it was going away from him all the time. Not the best position by Sullivan. You could see there, he wasn't really put under pressure. Toa Koilov couldn't get to it first, but he does on that occasion. That'll be a try, number 4, Toa Koilov, and the seesawing game continues.
Try is given, much to the delight of the Warrington Orchestra, and Toa Koilov gets try number 4 of the campaign, a try here against Leeds last Thursday.
Super kick from Breers. This is what they practice out on all through the week on the training paddock. Not the mistake from Sullivan, of course. You could see there he was in an awful position. He'd gone past the flight of the ball. Koilov made sure. We're in for a big game, yet again.
Another good kick from Lee Breers. 16-12. There's going to be 100 points in this match if we keep up at this rate. And Toa Koilov, conjecture surrounding where he will be playing next year, but right now he is a Warrington Wolf, and he has just scored the latest try. Well, I wonder if we're going to settle down now. I hope not. It's great stuff.
Is it ever? Well, 20 minutes into the game.
I mean, if you were a cynic, you would have to place a big question mark against defence, but
well, it's
if you like entertainment,
more the mistake error more than anything. It's the pressure that's been applied. Just simple errors and the opportunity to spill the ball over, turn it over very quickly. That's why it's seesawing.
Great kick from Breers. He's gone for a 40-20. Sullivan has made sure he didn't get it. Well, he's right on his own try line. We're going to take... Oh, here's a try!
What on earth is
Oh, dearie me, Sibbett underneath the post. I was just about to say we're going to take a huge risk and go down to Phil Clark before another try is scored. And Ian Sibbett and Ian Millwood, well, I would have a penny for his thoughts. What a night to come up with defensive blunders like this. 8 days away from the cup final. Anthony Sullivan could be playing himself out of the big event.
And he knows it too. Why on earth he offloads? This is a sin. When you've done so well to keep the ball in play in your own quarter, safety first. What on earth is he doing that for? No chance for Stewart. Sibbett said, I can't believe it. see the canola Warrington fans in there. He does ever so well. They obviously feel that Sullivan is a problem, that he can come up with the mistakes he has. But nobody in their right mind would have wanted to do a thing like that. That's the easiest try that Mr. Sibbott will ever score. Oh, dig a hole and go in it.
Briers from in front of the posts puts Warrington ahead for the first time. 18-16.
Well, the man operating the scoreboard, he certainly won't be cold. His hands are red hot. That is just incredible.
A little note in the book from Ian Winwood. I wonder if he's just gone through his Challenge Cup final team and scratched a couple of names out.
Well, there's an old saying, you can play yourself into a cup final and you can also play yourself out of one. And they're probably ringing round and trying to find out what size blazer Mr. Sullivan wears.
Gary Mercer, Warrington now with their tails up, ahead 18-16. 22 minutes gone. Well, if you like it fast and furious and you like it entertaining, you are in the right spot tonight. Nearly another mistake there. Briers turned it into a decent pass. Grubber kicked it down the touchline, and that finds the right side of the whitewash.
An ironic cheer from some of the Warrington fans, and the fact that Anthony Sullivan got nowhere near it.
Right, the scrum is packing down. Maybe this is an opportune moment. Phil Clark's on the touchline. Phil, have you ever seen anything like this in Super League before?
Well, defence at the moment, it seems like the only thing around the perimeter of the pitch is the closest thing to that. I think I started to write down 1 or 2 points that I thought were going to be crucial to the outcome of the game, and yet so many mistakes from either side, both sides taking their chances so well. I think there are going to be a dozen or so talking points even before we get to half-time. Amazing, amazing game, and we know that St Helens, they love to attack, but I think it's the side that's going to defend best for the remainder of the game that's going to win this. There's still many points to be scored, many chances to be created, but really, at the moment, I'm sure St Helens will want to go back to basics and get some sort of control in their game.
Well, what do they write on the dressing room walls these days? Isn't it defence wins matches? The defence is going to lose this match the way it's going on. So many errors. And
those errors, but also the fact that, you know, possession is vital. Keep hold of it. Well, that's a silly penalty to give away.
Andrew G, head-high tackle, and he shakes his head. He doesn't believe it's a high shot. I think having seen the replay, he might have to reassess his personal opinion.
No doubt about it that Steve Hall felt that.
Now the penalty has put St Helens within 20 metres again. Here is Big Wayne MacDonald. They're flying in, aren't they, the tackles?
So the boots.
Cunningham was a dummy half. Wellens pops it up. Joint again.
Now a little bit more steadiness, trying to calm things down. Cunningham will probably do that.
It's with Sculthorpe, and here is Anthony Stewart. He's spun away from the couple. Where's the defence?
Well, nobody wants to go for the legs.
They're all going high, aren't they? St Helens within 2.5 metres of the line now. Poor ball. Nutley gets to it.
Well, that was interference, trying to play the ball. Normally that would have been penalised. Not allowed to do that.
Not tonight.
Away with it. There's a real schmozzle at that play the ball.
Look at these statistics. 11 times Warrington in possession, only 2 completed sets. St Helens 9, completed 1.
We've had some tries, you know.
I know, but I mean, I know we've had tries, but here's a penalty.
A little bit high from Mr. Joint. Well, we've had everything, and now we've got a little bit of spite. It was Cunningham, actually. My apologies to the Saint skipper, Mr. G. Just having a little look to see who it was.
Danny Nutley with that drive, halted by Joint and Martin. Warrington being roared on by this big crowd. Briers to Busby. Good tackling by Hall and by Sculthorpe, and Busby felt that. Gets to his feet, plays the ball a little gingerly to Briers. Here's McCurry. Chris Joint stood his ground.
Well, this is where Langer will take control yet again.
There he is. G. Nurses wrapped up by Nickel first of all, and then by Tommy Martin. Heighton, they're 10 metres away. Langer to Breers. Lovely dummy, lovely spin.
Just no support there. The second phase really should have been up his backside. They weren't.
Langer, another kick out wide, another tester for Sullivan. He's got it again. They're over. Rob Smythe. Rob Smythe, has he scored again? He's gone to the video screen, has referee Robert Connolly.
Well, he wants to see if he's onside. Was he interfering also?
Well, Rob Smythe is probably the smallest man on the field, and he's out-jumped Anthony Sullivan again. Oh, it's a horror show for Sullivan. He's a mile onside.
Oh, is he though? Now is he? The winger's the one furthest away, and does he interfere? No, he just jumps on it. This will be TR White. And Mr. Sullivan is going through the horrors.
He's happy, I think, the video ref. The try is given, much to the delight of the Warrington crowd. Rob Smythe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tries we've had tonight already.
Just an unbelievable game, and it was an unbelievable kick from Langer. And Smythe just picks at the cherry, and it popped up nicely for him. Newlove tried to perhaps in many ways impeded his own player Sullivan. Not that Smythe is complaining, and neither are the Warrington fans.
Breers has missed the kick. It's 22-16.
What a weird game.
Seen nothing like this in 6 years, have we?
Well, this is one of the reasons why many people still in the game of rugby league want to bring back that whoever scores a try do not receive the ball, they actually kick off. We only had it in for one season to my memory, which made for games like this.
Yes, we are seeing Warrington on a bit of a roll here, and they have a penalty.
Head high again.
And who's involved? Vila Natautia.
That's another option they've got to be careful at, and Matautia certainly got in, and he didn't miss. It's another option that these St Helens players got to be thinking about also. Get a red card.
Yes.
I get the impression that there could be a few St Helens players out there, okay, they said perhaps they might just hold back. But there's a few out there playing themselves out of going down to London next week.
Andrew G for Warrington. Heighton. Kidwell is on. Wrestled to the ground eventually by Hall. Heighton. Langer. Wide to Breers. Showed it. Gave the ball. Oh dear, Newlove was high.
Did he grab? I think he just held off at the last moment. He knows he's in the wrong.
Oh, and isn't it ironic? It's Toa Koilov. Remember the first night at Wigan? Koilov was sent off for exactly that. Admittedly, the second one in quick succession. But Paul Newlove is sweating here on the report of touch judge to referee.
I'll go for it, put him on a report rather than just send. You can't really see whether he grabbed at him or whether he actually threw the punch. I think the swinging arm was definitely there.
It's a big call here for Robert Connolly. He's going to the back pocket. He's off.
He's gone.
Newlove is sent off. Paul Newlove's going to get the red card. And Paul Newlove is off the field and could be missing the Challenge Cup final next Saturday. Sensation here at Wilderspool, and Ian Millwood knows it. That's a huge call from Robert Connolly, but Koilov went for exactly the same at Wigan on the opening night of this season, and Paul Newlove has Price. First knock on, they'll play. Kidwell knows he was so close, but Steve-O, that is the biggest story of the night.
Well, we barely just mentioned it, have we? That some of these players have to be careful. It was an option that they didn't want to even think about, and that says it all.
He will be disconsolate. He will be desolate.
My word, and there'll be one word running through his mind: Twickenham.
Clear wall, hands out.
And he might have a seat just like you and I, and not be gracing the field of play.
And Steve-O, that will be one almighty blow to St Helens' hopes. He's a big game player.
Well, based on the fact that you've just highlighted, it was Toa Koilov that went off. He got suspended.
Well, don't say they're going to be consistent in the disciplinary. But if they are, Mr. Newlove is in serious problems.
Well, it's nothing for us sub judice to even discuss it, but I think deep down he knows it. I'm sure that Ian Millwood, the coach, he knows it too, that the way that the games are being meted out by the disciplinary. Meanwhile, the game goes on.
And it's St Helens who are down to 12 men, who are in possession with Cunningham.
It's going to take a big effort now. Okay, only 6 points adrift. We know they won't give in. That you can be assured of.
Because it's with Sculthorpe here. McCurry and Stenhouse with the tackling. Sonny Nichol pops the ball back. Shields will give it width. Here is Wellens. Wide it goes to Anthony Stewart. He tries to cut in field. Oh, and he's flicked the pass out the back door. And here comes Koilov. He has got support from Mercer.
Good work from Nichol there. But good support from Mercer. End-to-end stuff.
Well, it's entertainment with a capital E. It's got everything. It's had everything. And it's only just over half an hour gone. Now they have a penalty. Matautia penalised. Quick tap from Alan Langer. Here is Andrew G. Away from Cunningham. Flick pass back to Koilov. And wrestling to the ground is Kieran Cunningham.
Well, at least Cunningham had his mind on the job there. Quite a lot of the St Helens players, and they back to Alfie Langer.
Kidwell! Oh! West gets in between Kidwell and the winger.
Well, Stenhouse surely would have been in there.
Well, why didn't Kidwell back himself?
Well, he thought with a dummy, he wouldn't have made it. Definitely wouldn't have made it there.
Good job that Dwayne West was there for St Helens.
And Steve Hall.
That could have been the game.
Yep. Remember, it was West that salvaged the 1 point. Good Friday.
Well, you would believe that Darrell van der Velde was the man with all the problems. But it's Ian Millwood who has got them.
Well, neither side have really had time to get into any sort of shape, any pattern, any game plan.
Oh, they're out the window.
It's just like, let it go, keep passing in impossible situations.
I think the game plan went out the window on the second minute when Cunningham went over for the first try. Mayhem resulted from that. G. Good strong run, but the referee was unhappy, I think. Maybe G was using the elbow, and Joint is down now.
Geez, you can see there, straight into the jaw. That was a bad one too. Well, it's going to be a busy night for Robert Connolly, the bloody whistleblower.
Well, it will be now. If it hasn't already been with one red card.
The biggest problem now for the St Helens players, they've already seen Newlove sent off. That's going to be a problem. That's going to play on their minds. But not only that, they're thinking, am I going to get injured now?
Wellens is trapped on the halfway line. Warrington are swarming in on the tackle now. They have the scent of their first ever Super League victory against the Saints. Yonkers.
Well, a long way to go before you start thinking that.
Well, with 12 men against them, Steve-O, they will have that thought, believe me. Martin, Matautia, brushes away from one. Langer just holds him up while the defensive line sets. Good play from the veteran there. Here's Sculthorpe now.
Well, that's about the first constructed build-up that we've seen.
Warrington are slowing St Helens down at the play the ball, aren't they, when they can. Good defence.
He's in touch.
Good defence, he is now.
Well, they really are up for it, isn't it? It looked at one point that St Helens were going to control the game, but with defence like this, they've had to dig deep here at Warrington. And more problems for the master coach Ian Millward. Now, does he sacrifice the game?
Well, surely not. Surely not.
You'd think not.
They can't possibly. They've already lost to Bradford on the opening day. Lose here, that's 4 points gone. Any team that has serious top three ambitions with clubs like Hull and London hanging around, they cannot afford to drop points. They cannot afford to toss games away in the Super League this year, not even at the expense of a cup final.
It'll be interesting to see what he does at the half-time break here, Millward, with his St Helens outfit.
Kidwell running strongly again. G.
Well, I know a little mob over the Pennines will be
they'll be rubbing their hands.
rather impressed by all this. Will the Bulls?
Great ball from Langer to Coelov again. Coelov's got support inside Mercer. He's got him as a forward pass. No, he hasn't.
Oh, he's got him
given for penalty to Warrington for pulling back in back play. So Warrington on the charge here with Nutley.
Great run there from the prop forward. He never gives in, this fella, Nutley.
Neither does Langer. Here is Breers. Spin pass to Andrew G. It wasn't Breers, my apologies. It was Heighton. There's Breers in at the play the ball. Finds Langer. Langer attacking them down that corner again. Beautiful ball. Coelov. Second try for Coelov. Warrington in the box seat.
It all came about from that penalty. Holding back was a decision by the referee, Robert Connolly. Yeah, Sullivan definitely interferes with Smythe. Maybe the momentum rule would have got him away with that for what looked like a forward, but you can't allow this fella room to move, and that's what they did. He just ran the angle, no one got anywhere near Langer. Back on the inside, Don Coelov. Look at Langer, look at the acres of space there. Oh, you can't do that with a classy player like Langer. Coelov. They're ripping Saints apart. They are absolutely taking them to the cleaners.
Toa Coelov, his second try of the match. And Lee Breers here, 3 from 4. He has added the extras. It's 28-16. St Helens' problems mount.
Well, one man, Anthony Sullivan, must be absolutely distraught. He's not. He's in for his second try. The heads are down. St Helens, they have just applied the pressure to Anthony Sullivan all night, and he is having a nightmare, I'm sorry to say. This is not the best warm-up for the big game next weekend.
Well, I think that's the 8th try, isn't it, that we've had? 5 to Warrington and 3 to St Helens, and this is Nova yet. It's not even at half-time yet. Another great run from Heighton from dummy half. Langer. Breers stabs the kick, and Sullivan this time is content to allow the ball to find its way to the touchline. Well, I doubt if Ian Millward has endured a more horrific 40 minutes in Super League than this. The Warrington players are on their way to the dressing room. No time for the scrum to form. What a first 40 minutes that was. 28 points to 16. Paul Newlove sent off. That could have huge repercussions. And Anthony Sullivan is having a game that he would prefer to forget. Warrington 28, St Helens 16. Saints ahead after the second minute. They were in control after 16. Then 4 tries in the last 20 minutes of the half has given the match very much a Warrington flavour.
Champions again, and Saturday's party time at Old Trafford, but someone's looking to spoil the party. Joe Royal's City side are hanging on by their fingertips. Now they travel to the red side of Manchester, knowing that they must win to have any hope of playing United in the Premiership next season. A Ford Football Derby special tomorrow at 11:30 and 5:15, Sky Sports 1 and Extra.
The all-new Ford.
There's up to 50% off in the MFI sale, plus lots of extras on the house depending on your spend. But hurry, all free offers must end April 25th.
Is it because we offer free home energy efficiency advice? Or is it because we don't have a standing charge? Whatever it is, over 1 million people have come back home to British Gas.
Just one new Ariel liquid tab is all you need for brilliant cleaning. Ariel, that's another load off your mind.
This week we ask the question, do glossy weekend magazines really make newspapers more popular? Do pages filled with fashion features, relationship issues and interior design genuinely influence the choice of newspaper we buy? And ultimately, do these glossy magazines sell more newspapers? The Guardian finds out this Saturday.
The new glossy weekend magazine in The Guardian this Saturday. Part of The Guardian's new look Saturday paper.
I found something that's natural and tastes just delicious. It's made with crispy wheat flakes, hazelnuts, juicy raisins and almonds. Alpen, a tasty way to look after yourself.
Richie boy, I'm just going to go down to Sainsbury's to get some munchies. What do you want? Some pasta salad or something? Aye, aye. Try before you buy.
Yeah.
All right then. Are they sunblush tomatoes?
Yeah, they are.
Can I have a little tub of those?
Anything else?
See what would be nice? One of those green olives. Little knob of parmesan, darling. Oh no, I got it in my helmet. I'll save it for later. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye, Rich. I'm starving. Are you not having anything? No, mate, I'm not hungry.
Sainsbury's, making life taste better.
More live rugby league for you tomorrow from both sides of the globe. In the morning, Cronulla take on the New Zealand Warriors at 10:30 Sky Sports 2. And tomorrow night, top of the table Bradford take on Hull at the Boulevard, 6 o'clock. Back on Sky Sports 3 again. Well, you couldn't write the script for this one before the match. Warrington 28, St Helens 16. And really all that does is hide the fact that St Helens have got major problems because Paul Newlove has been sent off in this match just 8 days before the Challenge Cup final at Twickenham. But despite all of that, despite the scoreline against them, a very, very calm St Helens dressing room. Ian Millwood has sat his players down and is talking to them quietly and pointing out a few things. Meanwhile, Darrell is animated in the Warrington dressing room. Remember, Warrington have never beaten St Helens in Super League before. They're ahead by 12 points at half-time, and on the evidence of the first 40 minutes, literally anything can happen. No one could have predicted this. Sean McRae, not even you, who I know you know that St Helens are entertainers supreme, but no one would predict what we've seen here in the first 40. 8 tries?
Well, no, it's just been, I suppose, from an attacking point of view, it's been wonderful rugby league. Defensively, it's been poor. There's been a number of individual errors there that you just wouldn't expect. But unfortunately, that happens in the game, and sometimes they snowball and it gets worse for some people. I suppose, you know, Anthony Sullivan's one that I've got to point the finger at, and they've just targeted him and they've got him tonight and put him under a lot of pressure. And
would you whiz him off now?
Well, no, I probably wouldn't, because he's an experienced campaigner, and with the Paul Newlove sending off, he needs as many experienced players out there as he can, unless he says, well, the game's yours, Warrington, which I don't think he'll do.
Well, Steve-O made that point in the commentary, didn't he? Will he now decide, OK, this is gone?
Well, he's got a lot of kids out, Eddie. He's got a lot of kids on the field at the moment. I don't think you can just throw them out there. You've got to have experienced players around them. The problem St Helens have got, they've lost their most lethal attacking weapon in Paul Newlove, apart from Kieran Cunningham, of course, who's probably on par in different parts of the field. But they look a little bit shot in terms of attack. Defensively, they can only play one marker now. They've had to move Paul Wellens from the right to the left. They're in trouble, and Warrington are making yardage all the time. The only thing I would say is that St Helens play better coming from behind, and that's something that I think Darryl Vandervelde will be ramming down Warrington's throat and saying, these guys, when they're behind on the scoreboard, they probably play better, and they won't change the way they play. They'll attack and they'll throw the ball around. It won't worry St Helens.
Well, we saw that, didn't we, on Good Friday at Wigan. They do not know when they are beaten, this St Helens team. But Steve-O, their minds must be in turmoil. I mean, poor old Anthony Sullivan must be in a terrible mess. And what will Paul Newlove be thinking now?
Well, it's certainly going through his mind and playing on his mind, and I suppose that Anthony Sullivan would be asking himself, have I made the team? Because after tonight's performance in that first half, you'd have to doubt it. I mean, he's in the corner there, he's absolutely shattered. And that's not a good thing. They really should have got him out of the dressing room to be away from, you know, the head slumped down there, and he really should have been out of the player's view. It has been one of those games, hasn't it? Game plan? What game plan? Let's just throw the ball about with gay abandon. That's what we've seen. And at 16-6, it looked as though that St Helens once again was going to take control of the game. But enter, let's start attacking this man, Anthony Sullivan. First kick from Breers, pinpoint accuracy here. He comes up, it was not really underneath it, come up with a mistake. 3 went for it, Koilov got the first touch to it. And then yet another one. This kick into the corner, he does well to keep it in. Experience showing there, and then for some unknown reason, he just has a brainstorm. I'll just throw it on the floor. Oh my goodness me. Sibbiting for the simplest of tries. And not surprising when you've got the guy like Alfie Langer out onto the field of play. They kick through, this is the obstruction where Sullivan gave away the penalty, which allowed them to get into a position to keep the ball alive, and then the kick from Langer. Watch this. Who do they kick to? Langer back on the inside, then the dummy. Koilov back in. Not a good night for Mr. Sullivan. 2 tries for Koilov. And it just shows you the impact, what pressure can do to any player, irrespective of the experience that you have, whether you're an international or not. But it will just be absolute torment for that man, and he'll be trying his best to do something in that second half. But it did surprise me on that shot in the dressing room that they've got Newlove still in there with the players. They should have got him out.
Well, amazing first 40 minutes of rugby league here at Wilderspool. I just wonder what an experienced campaigner like Phil Clark has made of it all. He, of course, has been preparing for Challenge Cup finals himself in the past. Phil, have you ever seen anything like this? I posed the question to you during the first half. It's quite amazing what we've seen.
It really is. I mean, it's almost like an NBA basketball game. It's so fast in the attack, going from one end of the field to the other. And it really is a very, very exciting and game really turned on its head. I also feel now, though, what would the sporting odds be of another 44 points in the second half with these two sides? Pretty good.
We were pretty close to the action there when Newlove did get his marching orders. It looked pretty bad on the replay. How did you see it?
Yeah, well, I think he got his footwork all wrong and his positioning all wrong for the first try. when Hunt went through to score. Here again, he's too far away from Corey Love. His body position is poor, and he just stretches the arm out. Paul Newland's not a dirty player. That's the sort of thing that you see very often with him doing. But when he gets himself out of position, and he throws the arm, and the referee sends him off. So he will, as you said, be so disappointed, so feel as though he's let his side down. They've lost Iro as well. He's not here tonight. Noel Newlove now. They're the two strike players who could get them back out of trouble.
Well, we're going to ask Sean for a fairly quick comment on that Paul Newlove incident. I mean, you looked at it, close on, head on. The disciplinary committee will be looking at it as well. I know it's all in the melting pot now. They're up before them on Tuesday, but what do you think? Do you think he's missing the Twickenham final now?
From a coaching point of view, I'd be disappointed if I lost a player because of that. That's why I like the report system. I agree with Phil Clark. There's no malice in it. Yes, he got him high, but I'm one of those people that I sort of think use a report system if possible. But I've got to say, Bob Connolly went to the touch judge and got his advice, and he has consulted somebody. He hasn't overreacted and gone red card straight away. He has consulted, and he's obviously thought about it, so they thought it was bad enough to go. But once you're sent off, it's pretty tough to get out of it with just send off sufficient, so we'll have to wait and see.
Lap of the God stuff, isn't it now, for poor old Paul Newlove, and certainly for St Helens here at Warrington. They're trailing the champions. What's happening at the JJB Stadium? Well, it's not as cut and dried as a lot of people were thinking for Wigan against Huddersfield Giants. Huddersfield still bottom of the table, still without a win this year. Wigan ahead by 12 points to 4 at the interval there. We'll keep you up to date with the way that one progresses in the second half. Well, what's going to happen here? I think you could put 7 different versions into a hat and pull them out and you could still be wrong. It's 28-16 to Warrington at half-time.
Oh, at least the taxman doesn't get his hands on my savings.
Always wanted to see this. So I took a break from paying my pension.
1 million members lean on Royal Liver. And with no outside shareholders, no one leans on us for profits.
It's nice to have something to fall back on, just in case.
For tax-free savings, flexible pensions and insurance, lean on the Liver.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hello.
At UPS, we don't just go by the book to deliver your package on time. We go beyond it.
Business as you've known it is history. We're in a brave new world with more information than you've ever seen. And if you're not part of it, you're part of the past. How do you unlock its potential? With EMC. EMC opens the door to all your information. It's the one place where you can see your information from every place. EMC, where information lives.
New Bold 2-in-1 tablets. Each one is bulging with a built-in quality conditioner that keeps your clothes fresher than any other tablet.
Dad?
New Bold tablets. Chock-a-block with a freshness that lasts.
Ole, ole, ole. Ole, 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 ole. Cha-cha-ca-rumba. Ba-ju-ba-doomba. Cha-cha-cha-cha. Singing ole, ole, ole. Ole, 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 ole. Cha-cha-ca-rumba. Ba-ji-ca-choomba. Cha-cha-cha-cha.
All the magic of Miracle Grow, now in a compost.
The Saturday premiere with Siemens mobile phones.
Sonny Colfax is trying to relax.
I just want things to go back to the way they used to be.
He's not just losing his girlfriend.
You refuse to move on to the next phase of your life.
I can't lose it.
Now he's gaining a son.
Our son, I adopted.
A comedy about fatherhood.
I wet my bed.
The kid just won't stop peeing and throwing up. He's like a Cocker Spaniel.
Adam Sandler. Big Daddy, tomorrow at 8 on Sky Premiere.
More live football coming up for you tomorrow. Another 3 matches. Tomorrow morning, 11:13, Man United against Man City. 5:15, Sunderland take on Newcastle. And at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Celta Vigo against Deportivo. 3 live matches coming up for you tomorrow right here on Sky Sports. Half-time in this Super League battle between the Warrington Wolves and St Helens. 28 points to 16. Nobody in their right mind could have predicted either the scoreline or the way that we have reached that scoreline. It has been absolutely sensational entertainment. This fellow well and truly under the microscope in the first half, and Ian Millwood has given him a vote of confidence and pushed him back out onto the field in the second half to regain some confidence, bearing in mind the Challenge Cup final to come. But 2 priceless Super League points at stake here. Warrington going for 3 in a row after their back-to-back Easter wins against Leeds and Halifax. It's been achieved just once last year in July and August. So it can be done, but against the champions, if they hang on and if they beat the 12 men, a lot of people will say it is the most unlikely of victories, but there's a little bit of water to run under the old Wilderspool Bridge before that.
Well, they must be buoyed, this Warrington outfit, especially by the fact that against a team like St Helens, who love to keep the ball alive, they only made 61 tackles in that first half, the Wolves.
This is Anthony Stewart now. They're having to make a few more tackles at the start of this second half. Cunningham. The kick downfield was from Sculthorpe. And here now comes Jamie Stenhouse.
St Helens, of course, they still have the strike power out there. Okay, they've lost Paul Newlove, been sent off in that first half, controversial circumstances. But it's at times like this where Tommy Martin really has to come to the fore. His experience now, and that man doing the tackle, the skipper, Chris Joint, they have to lead by example. We've seen it so many times already this year, how the Saints can fight their way back. It's all about the pride now.
It'll be very interesting if Warrington score first. It'll be a huge comeback if St Helens make it then.
Ooh,
Lee Breers,
nicely.
It's done up in the in-goal area, and Anthony Stewart. Where was the Warrington defence? There it was. Well, he wanted him trapped in goal. As it is, instead of getting the drop out from under the post, they do get head and feet at the scrum, just about 10 metres away from the line.
Got a better option. But that's wonderful thinking there. Sibbett made sure that there be an obstruction. Well, he doesn't have to move. I think that's the reason why the referee allowed that. Good work from Stewart to start with, and more pressure.
Ian Millwood's record is played 41 prior to tonight, lost only 5. Looking down the barrels here, and Coelov after the hat-trick. Hauled down by Paul Wellens. Breers the dummy half. It's Nutley trying to drive his weight to the line. They pick his legs up and they push him further back. This is a golden opportunity for Warrington. Heighton, Langer, on it goes via G to McCurry. Here's Alan Hunt. He's escaped the net of 2, and luckily for St Helens, Peter Shields was there. Now then it's Stenhouse, big hit by Matautia. Matautia picks him up almost then as he's making the play the ball. Langer, little dummy, flicks it back, Mercer! The St Helens defence did well then.
Certainly did, but good work again from Langer. He's controlling things out there, as little Alfie.
Breers with a dab through. Smythe! He scored! Smythe has scored, has he?
Yep.
Ian Millwood looks very concerned because it's gone again to the video referee. But Rob Smythe believes he scored, and so does Steve-O. And remember, he's not been wrong yet this year.
Well, the only one that can stop it is whether it's offside. No, he's a... Ooh, I don't know. Now then, this is a tester. No, he's fine.
Miles.
TRY.
It's going to be the second try for Rob Smythe, this.
Beautiful kick, though, from Breers. Got a ricochet, which made it a little bit easier, but Smythe won't worry about that. The Warrington fans will go berserk. It's TRY. Saints are in a hole.
And they need a huge effort to get out of it now. Rob Smythe second, 2 against Halifax last Monday. That's 13 tries now, and this is his 15th Warrington appearance.
You make your own luck in this game. Okay, it did ricochet, but they applied the pressure. Lee Breers with a perfect kick through. Came off the legs of Wellens, but Smythe takes it. It's going to be a big effort from St. Helens to stop a rout here.
And Lee Breers to add the extra 2. Breers is kicking magnificently. Warrington's tails are up. It's 34-16. And the Saints are going to go to the final with a huge defeat under their belts.
Quick thinking. They were slow to react. And yet again, they are peppering the left-hand side of this St. Helens defence.
I tell you what, Steve-O, we mentioned it briefly in the first half. There will be a certain coach of the Bradford Bulls sitting at home now, and I bet he's got a videotape on of this performance from St. Helens. Brian Noble and the Bradford Bulls will be rubbing their hands. Or has this performance from St. Helens come a week too early from the Bulls' point of view?
Well, they'll be wary of the Saints outfit. They know that probably, and Brian will be quoted in the paper, I'm sure, tomorrow by saying they can't play as poorly, etc., etc., etc. But that won't make any difference. He will have his own plans. He will want to make sure that St. Helens just worry about the Bradford Bulls. He will put this to one side. I don't think any of the players will understand that. The only thing perhaps that might put a little smile on his face is the fact that there's got to be doubt about Paul Newlove. Will they, the disciplinary, select and say that it was with intent?
Well, we'll see what Brian Noble has to say about that, and more importantly, in the short term, about Hull, tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, right here on Sky Sports 3 again. Well, the Warrington fans really love you, Steve-O. They're asking you now to tell them the score again. They were doing the same last Thursday against Leeds.
Don't they have opticians here in Warrington? Well, it's a big sign.
Well, you're obviously a St. Helens supporter now. You were a Rhino last Thursday. Who were you supporting on Friday? I can't remember.
I don't know why anybody bothers. I mean, I hate every team.
It's Sculthorpe now. Bit of argy-bargy between Mercer and Sculthorpe. Oh, Paul Sculthorpe wants to keep the fists down. The last thing that you need is another incident. He's got the penalty, Sculthorpe.
Well, the one thing that you could always be proud of about the Saints side is that their composure, and they used to keep themselves under control. They can't afford to have any silly play. Oh, that is stupid play. Wellens was stood still. The pass was okay back on the inside. Sloppy play by Saints. This won't do anything for their confidence, that's for sure.
No. 7 minutes of the second half gone. There's a long, long way to go yet in this match. And early in this second half, the signs are not good. But I suppose you say that at your peril against this St. Helens team.
Well, Warrington are getting into the swing of things, of sorting out the patterns, that hitting the line with gusto. And Langer and Breers, they're combining, they're keeping everything ticking over out there.
Some beautiful passing.
That long ball out wide has been superb tonight. That'll be a penalty. 2-on-1. Shields the culprit.
There's 2 men in attendance.
Greers wants to get on with it for obvious reasons at 34-16. They rub more salt in the wound if they can.
Nutley with a great drive.
He's lost it. It's good play.
Knock on. And he's hurt. What's more, Nutley, he is flat out. They're just checking, getting this gum shield out, checking that everything is A-OK. The physio quickly to the scene.
Well, you can see he went down and sort of hit the deck. Went for the second challenge, and then they just go, oh, that was a swinger. Well, Sculthorpe. Well, what on earth is going through these players' minds? Why on earth they want to be doing things like this? That is ridiculous. They've already had one player sent off for foul play. Well, composure we just talked about, and it's just lacking. Well,
there's a bit like Yeston Harris here on the terraces around Wilders Pool. Is Paul Sculthorpe. He left, of course, for pastures new. They don't like that.
I don't think his coach will be too impressed either.
Here is Sculthorpe again now. The tackle is made by Ian Simmett. Danny Nutley, by the way, has left the field. Cunningham with the run. He slipped under the challenge from Masella. Well, we've been trying for 8.5 minutes to get to the sideline and talk to Bill Arthur about what was said in the dressing rooms during the half-time interval. Now's your chance, Bill. Be quick.
Eddie, I should imagine Darrell van der Velde will be delighted with the way his side have gone about the business in the second half. He was hammering into them at half-time that the fact that Saints are down to 12 men has absolutely no significance. Or does it?
Coey Love for the hat-trick. He will score. Wellens is quick, but not that quick. Right round and underneath the posts. The problems mount for Ian Millwood. The joy to behold on the terraces at Wilders Pool. And this is going to be a famous night if you're a Warrington fan. They are on the brink of their first ever Super League win against the back-to-back champions and World Club champions.
Well spotted though. Great interception. Knew he had all the speed. Cunningham through the dummy, and he just positioned himself. The little dummy back on the inside just allowed Coey Love the time to take that half a step straight into the breadbasket. Off he went. Hat-trick time. He enjoyed that. And the fans here also enjoyed it. You can see the glum faces. That's the St. Helens fans behind the sticks. They are running riot.
Toa Coey Love has just scored his third hat-trick for Warrington. It's 38-16 here, and this kick from underneath the sticks to come. It's going to be 40 points to 16 in a second. 40 points to 16 it is.
We pose a question, Eddie, at half-time. Would Ian Millwood perhaps just say that's it and save his men? Are they resting? But to be fair, when you've come up with passes like that, you take your opportunity.
Well, there we are, just to prove we do actually put the score up here at Wilders Pool and wherever we go. And no point in the supporters chanting for Steve-O to tell them the score, because Sky Sports does, courtesy of the big screen. 40 points to 16. It makes wonderful reading for the Wolves. It makes bitter and painful reading for the Saints. 51 minutes have gone, nearly half an hour remaining, and Warrington, well, they're running the show, and they're running Saints off their feet. Here they come again.
This is a wonderful show from the two half-backs, Lee Breers and Alan Langer. There wasn't really any plot to anything in that first half, but there is in this second stanza, I can assure you. The two half-backs running the show, good work from the Warrington forwards, good kicking game, playing the percentage.
And Briers and Langer, as Steve-O says, absolutely running the show here. Paul Newlove is seated now in the stands. Can only ponder what might happen early next week.
Well, maybe the only thing that could perhaps save Newlove is that there wasn't a swinging arm. He was off balance. But will they take that into account?
Well, we cannot prejudge the issue, Steve.
No, none whatsoever. But
it was on Toa Coelove, and it reminded me so much of the night that Coelove was sent off at Wigan.
Well, that's stupid, G. They're having a rear old goal there. No one wants to throw a punch. Cunningham says Domus is stupid. Well, if I was Ian Millwood, Paul Sculthorpe would be taken from the field of play as of now. Don't risk it. They're tormenting him.
Here's Peter Shields. He hands it on to Steve Hall. Brave run from Hall. Dwayne West, the dummy half. Here's Tommy Martin. Now Sculthorpe. He finds Stankovic. Back to Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe up the middle. Tidwell and Masella close in on him and bring him down. Cunningham. Here's Chris Joynt. Chris Joynt spins the ball back to Stankovic.
Great defence from the little fella, Langer.
Pushing and shoving at the play the ball. It's been outlawed all that this year. Yonkers. Sculthorpe. Wide to Martin.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Hall has dropped it. Warrington have swooped on it again. And it's one of those St. Helens nights. Let's get down to Bill. We have only had half a report really about Darrell. Let's hear about Ian Millwood and company now.
Well, Eddie, just to say the mood in the Saints camp now is one of stunned disbelief, really, as they look out and see that scoreboard saying 40 points to 16, a week away from the Challenge Cup final, and it could get worse yet. And significantly, at half-time, they were demanding to see the match commissioner at one stage, the additional official in the stands, to talk about the sending off of Paul Newlove. They felt very, very aggrieved about that. They still feel aggrieved about it, and there's a great sense of injustice in the Saints camp tonight. Not just that decision, one or two other decisions that have gone against them.
Well, St. Helens feeling aggrieved about the Paul Newlove sending off. And they will feel aggrieved about this scoreline that's against them now, but Warrington won't, because if you look down the Super League history, there's the penalty count, by the way, for you. St. Helens have scored some massive totals against Warrington over the years. They got 66 points against them in 1996 when they won the title. 60 points against them the following year. 48 in 98, 57 in 99, and 2 50s and a 47 last year. So don't expect Warrington to ease off. Cunningham is hunting something here, but that's great Warrington defence.
Superb stuff. They're working overtime. There's a real team spirit here.
Shields stabs it towards in goal. Stenhouse does well.
Did the right thing. No point in taking any chances when you've got a scoreline like that. They've got the lead. It's St. Helens having to play the catch-up football. And they did well, did Jamie Stenhouse. Short.
You talk about the team spirit on display here at Warrington, Steve-O. In all the adversity that Warrington have suffered over the past couple of weeks, it's amazing the way it could actually have a galvanising effect on this club, couldn't it?
It certainly has been so far, but the week before Easter, you would have said that they were odds-on for competing for the wooden spoon. It can change ever so quickly, can't it? But this has been a great effort. It's a professional way that they've come into this second half that it's impressed me more than anything.
24-8. Wigan ahead after 50 minutes against the Huddersfield Giants. Looks like Huddersfield will stay bottom of the pile, and Warrington will be 6 points away from them at the end of this, because I cannot for the life of me see St. Helens coming back from this. But we said that at Wigan on Good Friday.
Oh, it's got to be a penalty. Civic was not square.
Darrell van der Velde is passing a very rude message down to his players. Cunningham, Sculthorpe, Martin let it go because Langer was hunting the interception. Here's Joynt, back it goes to Stankovic. Langer's all over the show tonight. Along the deck, and it's to Sculthorpe. He's away from Masella. and he's clattered 9 metres away from the line, but it's the first tackle. There's plenty in the bag here for Saints. Joint, Yonkers, Cunningham, wide it goes to Big Peter Shields, over the top, and a try. Is it for West? No! It was a forward pass anyway, and it was terrific defence. I don't know whether West actually got the ball down.
Went pretty close. Well, Shields offloads. Goes low. That would have been a try, I feel. What's the left arm? Juts out. Ooh, forearm. Could have been dodgy. Referee might have saved my bacon on that one.
Yes, he still hasn't got a video referee decision wrong this year, have you?
No. But most importantly, it's just so great to see a side who come back from so much adversity. But it's the way that they're working together, and it really is a wonderful effort in the second half from Warrington. They have bossed this game.
Yes, they have. Well, they've bossed it from around about the 20-minute mark in the first half. It was 16-6, and from 16-6, it's now gone to 40 points to 6, and there's been 2, 4, 6 tries scored. 40 points to 16.
There's been some star performers out there for Warrington. We've already mentioned the fact that 2 half-backs. Koa-Love, his hat-trick. I think it's one of the best games I've seen Alan Hunt have for quite some time.
Langer's bossed it though, hasn't he?
Has he ever? The 2 half-backs have controlled it.
Well, Sean McRae summed it up, didn't he, in the pre-match build-up. He said, "Are we coming here to see the Langer-Breers show?" And we have watched the Langer-Breers show unfold.
It's been magic to watch too. All the experience with the young buck outside him. When they first brought him over, it was often mentioned that surely this would be the extra lift that young Lee Breers needed to go into that international standard. We saw his wonderful performances in the World Cup. He's come of age, but the 2 half-backs and Warrington have certainly fired tonight. Chris Joint trying everything.
Now then, Tommy Martin, space here for Peter Shields. They've got a 3-against-1 overlap. They're away here with a chance of something, but that is fantastic chasing back, fantastic harrying, and terrific defence. He's hauled up off his knees, and it's Steve McCurry who got that tackle in. Hall was on his way.
You talk about teamwork there.
What a tackle.
McCurry came back. Well, a couple of years ago, there was some doubt about whether he could make it again in the big time. They said he was overweight, didn't have the 100% commitment. But you can't say that about them tonight. This surely must bring, for perhaps the first time for many, many years, a smile on Daryl Vanderbilt's face.
Kieran Cunningham has left the building.
And there's still plenty of time to go as well. Ian Millward.
I wonder, Steve-O, is that the white flag being raised by St Helens when a man like Cunningham goes to the sidelines?
Oh, I think that white flag was in tatters long before then.
Oh, and Joint is off as well. So the inspirational leader and the hooker off. Not sent off like New Love, but just withdrawn by their coach. Remember, that will be the biggest talking point out of this match, no matter what the margin of victory, and it could be stretched further here because it's with Koa-Love who's after his 4. It was a good tackle back by Tim Yonkers.
What a superb delayed pass yet again from Langer.
Here he is again. Hauled down, caught in possession, no last tackle. Oh, and Daryl van der Velde is the perfectionist, isn't he? He's not happy.
Cannot believe it. Oh. He'd tread on the fairies at the bottom of the garden, I reckon.
09009 10 13 in the UK. Vote now for your man of the match. 15-50, 92, 35, 56 in the Republic of Ireland. Here is Danny Nutley again. I'm amazed to know that you've got fairies at the bottom of your garden.
You'll be surprised.
I'm amazed to know you've got a garden. This is Marcella. Here is Breers. Out wide from Sibbett. Stenhouse looking for more.
They're on the feet, St Helens.
What will this do to their confidence for next week?
They're just out of it completely. Look again, the combination between Breers and Langer.
And the St Helens supporters now are chanting, "We are the champions." That they are. But this is a great display from Warrington. Langer, Breers, great ball, good hands, and Sibbett will score another. Referee spurns the protest from St Helens, and Sibbett gets a second try. There is still no smile from Darrell van der Velde, but inside the man must be bubbling. Sibbett with the try, 44 points to 16, and Ian Millwood, well, as I mentioned earlier, his record is a fantastic one. 35 wins from 41 before tonight, but he's going down like the Titanic here.
Basic rugby league football, just keep the ball alive. The combination and the link again by the two halfbacks. They are having the time of their lives out there, and rightly so. You can see how the St Helens defence is just hanging back. They're being mesmerised by the skills of Breers and Langer, and once that ball got out wide, they had the overlap. No more is there the fire and brimstone running through the bodies of the St Helens players. They have, probably for the first time that I've seen in 2 years, completely got their heads down.
Well, Robert Connolly was pointing to the St Helens team then. I think there were one or two of them over the try line, or maybe in between the posts, but he pointed at them. And well, every picture tells a story, and those faces are worried. Langer's missed it. Breers has missed it. Alan Langer's been involved in just about everything else tonight, but he doesn't kick the goals. And Breers is claiming, I think, he's told the referee that they definitely put him off then, the St Helens players.
He won't mind. He knows that the winning bonus, and more importantly, the two valuable league points. And as we mentioned earlier, that it could really be more painful as the season progresses, with the fact that St Helens have not secured the 2 points here tonight. But you can't deny this Warrington outfit for that effort.
You cannot. 64.5 minutes. Let's get the view of Phil Clark on the sideline. It's a good night to be a Warrington fan, Phil.
I'll hang on just to see what happens here. Well, Saints seem to get back and cover on that one. Well, I think apart from these fanatical Wolves fans behind me, there weren't many people thinking about Warrington in the playoffs this year. And after the 3 recent wins, 2 of which were against St Helens and Leeds, of course, there's surely a chance now of getting up that league and into the playoff. Fantastic year to be a Warrington fan, and really their season and campaign in 2001 has really kick-started in this last 10 days.
Here is McCurry. What a match he's having as well. Steve, you can go back 12 months and remember what happened to Leeds starter last year. High turn, flick pass, Alan Hunt, and Alan Hunt gets his second try. Former Saints in front of the St Helens supporters. I'm sorry to say it, this is a rout.
Running at will. Come on, Darrell. Just one.
Well, he mightn't be smiling, but these people are.
And to be fair to all those fans, even when they were going through that bad patch, they still supported them. They never leave the ground until completely at the end. Well, you can see Breers is just running the show yet again. It's just good support play. They're just running out of numbers now, St Helens. Look at that, no work from the first and second markers. Who would have thought it? Saints have thrown that towel in.
Alan Hunt, not 100% convinced yet about the white rinse, but Lee Breers from bang in front, no matter what St Helens do here, he won't miss this. They've hit the half century. It's 50 points to 16. He looks to the heavens. And Ian Millwood, well, knowing Ian, he will just put this down to experience. It will be a bad day at the office. Actually, it's been a horrible day at the office.
Well,
but not for Warrington.
We'd be better served to perhaps just work out the seating plan for the coach down to London.
Or the room, well, the rooms must be sorted now, surely.
Well, you mentioned the fact that Paul Newlove, of course, who sent off in that first half, he will be having jitters, whether he'll be there, but...
he's in for a dreadful few days.
There's quite a few players still out there that may still have the jitters. The first half performance from poor Anthony Sullivan, he went through the horrors. And the final selection, of course, when the squad is announced, surely that will be done either Monday or Tuesday.
Such fluidity about Warrington now. I know they're playing against 12 men. As soon as you put those sort of comments out, it's a nightmare for everybody concerned when Nutley drops the ball, but they have played so well tonight.
But they've played with not just a passion, but they understand that Saints down one man, keep the ball alive. That's what they've done.
Well, for an hour they've been against 12 men.
Combination, no point in just wasting your effort and your energy going through the forwards. That would have played into the hands of St. Helens. Keep the ball alive. The way that they control it, as we've mentioned time and time again, Lee Breers, Alan Langer, but the way that they've stood 30, sometimes 40 metres apart from each other, it ensures that they keep the ball flowing.
And Vila Matautia looked for Alan Langer then. Here is Martin. It goes wide to Steve Hall. And another flick pass is put to ground by Dwayne West. Well, St. Helens want the full-time siren to come quicker than the 11 minutes that are left.
Plenty out there. They're looking for the bulldozers.
And the Barmy Army's chanting up now. Listen, the Warrington fans.
Yet another mistake.
They're a great bunch, this lot, let me tell you. As Steve-O said, they never left the scene of the 4 defeats until the very end, and they kept behind Wolfie and the players when the bad times were here. These are good times at the moment, very good times, when you can beat the champions 50 points to 16 and still have 10 minutes to play.
Pubs will run dry here tonight, but it's so pleasing to see.
Great hands. Coelov.
Oh, he did ever so well there.
He's had a heck of a game. Hole for Heighton. Support from Langer.
Oh, he deserves a try, does Alfie?
Brilliant pass.
Oh, they've
knocked on now.
Just trying to get the ball back on the inside to Sibbett. Sibbett knows it. No advantage to the Saints side, and they will take time to set this scrum down, and rightly so. They have been run ragged. They are the right tactics. Look at this. Superb running. He has great balance, hasn't he, Toa Coelho?
Time to blood youngster like Paul Wood and David Olstead for Darrell van der Velde.
Of course, at the start of this season, a lot of people critical of the fact that Warrington have a lot of senior players, about 8 or 9 over the age of 32. But now we are seeing some of the youngsters coming through.
Never been known to exaggerate, have you? It's about 4, actually. 09 double
4, is it?
About 4 over 32, yeah. 09 double 09,
okay,
10,
well,
10, 13.
8 over 30.
Okay, let's get these numbers out first. 15, 15, 92, 35, 56, Republic of Ireland viewers. They're the numbers for the man of the match. Let me take a look down. Alan Hunt's 30, that's 1. Alan Langer's 34, there's 2. Mark Marcello's 31, that's 3. Gary Mercer only just arrived, that's 34, that's 4. And Andrew G is 30, that's 5. In this current 17 on duty tonight.
I said before the start of the season, okay?
Mercer, one of the 30-somethings.
Has defeated him well. Anthony Mercer on his return to the club.
Oh, here they come again. Kidwell. Kidwell for Hunt. Hat-trick time for Alan Hunt. What a night for Warrington. A night to remember. A night to forget for St Helens. They will go to a Challenge Cup final with one of their heaviest defeats, certainly of this season and maybe in the Super League.
Well, I think Brian Noble and the boys over the Pennines, the Bulls, I think they would have turned the TV off a long time ago. No point in watching anymore. It's just a tri-fest now, and they are running through them at will. There's hardly any opposition. And again, we see the skills. That beautiful pass from Lee Breers. Alan Hunt, certainly one of his better games. He will remember that. And if you're a Warrington fan, you'll never forget it. The first time they've beaten St Helens in Super League.
Breers adds his 8th successful goal kick, 56-16. The worst ever Super League defeat was 1997 against Wigan, 65-12. This has got to be one of St Helens' biggest defeats in Super League now.
It'll be interesting to see what Ian Millward says after this game. Knowing Ian, he'll probably just shrug his shoulders and say it's one of those things.
This is Warrington's highest score in Super League, Steve-O.
And there's still plenty of time left. They are just completely out of their feet, aren't they? And you just wonder how much it's going to take out of them, not just physically, these St Helens players left out there, but mentally as well.
10 tries tonight for Warrington, shared between 4 people as Wigan add to Huddersfield's misery, 37-8. 3 tries here for Alan Hunt and Toa Koilov, and 2 apiece for Sibbett and Smythe. And there could be more to come in the last 6 minutes. Great kick downfield by Breers.
His kicking game tonight has been superb. We had 2 tries with a kick that, and he just controlled things out there. He's enjoying it, that's for sure. Just keeps control of the game. They've just applied the pressure with so much, well, pizzazz. It's mystified this St Helens outfit. And right to the end, Alan Hunt right into the face. They're just not allowing Saints anywhere to run.
Paul Wellens hits the deck. We're into the last 5 minutes, and St Helens must be saying, I think, to the man who keeps the time and blows the siren, press the button and let's get out of here.
Well, it's hard to
What a way to spend a Friday night.
Well, it's hard to think whether the success or whether Paul Wellens from the fullback to half-back in the place of Sean Long, all right, it was always going to be something that we'd perhaps talk about, but when you think about it, that first half, St Helens were leading 16-6. They were taking control in a first half that really, where no side wanted to boss it, they just threw it about Samba style.
Yes, it was a situation tailor-made for a man like Sean Long, wasn't it, had he been out there? But rested tonight, along with Hoppy and Fairley and Kevin Iro. I suppose when you look at that team sheet, we might have expected this, but maybe not at this sort of margin.
Well, to be fair, they still trotted out with a host of stars, whether you like it or not. But we've really seen nothing from Tommy Martin. Kieran Cunningham, probably one of his quietest games also, and I'm afraid a nightmare for Anthony Sullivan. But what a night for this fella. gone through a lot of difficulties over the past fortnight. And thankfully, he's put that to one side, and he really has shown his strength and the skills out there.
And the strength of character from Brea's mirrored really throughout the team, as we mentioned earlier.
Unbelievable.
Peter Shields, and although they're 56-16, look at the vigour from Warrington in defence.
Well, they completely shattered St. Helens, and you can see that the
they'll want to get off, won't they? They'll want to get on the way home now.
Yeah, but the enthusiasm of the defence, you know, you couldn't have faulted Warrington if they'd have just taken the foot off the gas. But no, they're still getting into their faces in the defensive mark.
The last tackle, there's a high kick here from Tommy Martin. Alan Hunt collects it.
Oh, that was Was that McDonald? Yeah. McDonald lunging. Was that accidental? I think perhaps it was, but that. He's not happy, isn't hiding. Oh, he slips here. Pretty hard to see whether that was intentional or not, but oh, well, that looked bad to me, Eddie. I think that Wayne McDonald is quite fortunate.
It's pretty bad for Alan Hunt as well. He's holding the lower back. But a hat-trick for Hunt. He won't want to leave the scene of this triumph against his former team. Had so many glory days with St. Helens, did Alan Hunt. And this is a glorious night in his Warrington career.
Is that an outstanding night as of all the players in the Warrington side?
Oh, that's the first big blunder from Breas all night. Kick out on the full.
He's human. Come on, Darryl, just a little one.
Not yet. Maybe a minute and a half. Then he might allow himself a little smile. But not yet.
I'm going to give the coach full credit too. He's had to really show a lot of strength. Well, all these players, the entire club, have had to dig deep.
Steve, it began before the season started. Kevin Campion elected to go to the New Zealand Warriors instead of coming here and fulfil the contract that he signed. They went for Kevin Walters, he went home. Then there was the personal tragedy for Tawera Nikau, and also here is possibilities for Saints, but another great defence. It was against Mike Bennett. It was a personal tragedy for Tawera Nikau. There's a try. There's a try from Yonkers. Yonkers under the post, a mere consolation. But all that, and Darryl van der Velde has galvanised the spirits. There's even been Steve Georgalis having to retire from the game this week.
Well, good work there by Yonkers. Fully deserved it. Went a little bit too high on the big fella. It was Heighton that went to it, and he caught one right in the throat. Well, he takes a consolation try. But it won't be such of a buoyant club. This will be difficult to just push to one side, Eddie. To be hammered like this is not a great psychological lift for the cup final next weekend.
56-22. It isn't even respectable. There's the full-time siren. A famous night for Warrington. A night that St. Helens would rather care to forget. What a match for Alan Langer. What a match for Anthony Sullivan. And the supporters rise to the Warrington Wolves. 56 points to 22. "13 tries in this game last year, 14 tonight. They entertain us royally whenever we point our cameras at Warrington and St. Helens. Now then, still to come tonight over on Sky Sports 1 now. It's late night wrestling in WWF Late Night Raw. Sky Sports 2, live US Tour Golf Day 2 of the Shell Houston Open. Here on Sky Sports 3 from 10, it's the Friday Night Sports Centre. And over on Sky Sports Extra now, live Test cricket action from Day 2 of the 5th Test between the West Indies and South Africa. It has been a night that Warrington will live on for a long, long time. Their season is very much up and running. Look at that, 56-22 against the World Club champions.
From the channel that brought you Temptation Island.
Who can't kick your butt?
It's more than just a game.
Why don't you laugh up there like you did yesterday?
If this mission were real, you'd be dead. The most grueling test of endurance.
Why are you hanging up there? Keep going! I love it, sir!
It makes Big Brother seem like little sister.
Are you recruit Lauder? Yes, sir! You sure?
I don't even think his mother loves him.
Get out of my face.
Yes, sir.
Are you dissing me?
The new series, Boot Camp, Tuesday at 8, Sky One.
Jamjar.com have got brand new Citroen Zara Picassos for just £10,495. That's over $2,200 off the list price.
Just one new Ariel liquid tab is all you need for brilliant cleaning. Ariel, that's another load off your mind.
Sharp. Dynamic. Protector 3D Diamond. With the sharpest edges in the world. So close and so sharp that it has to be kept behind bars. There's no safer wet shave. Protector 3D Diamond from Wilkinson Sword.
Record Quick Vice. Where will you use yours?
There's up to 50% off in the MFI sale, plus lots of extras on the house depending on your spend. But hurry, all free offers must end April 25th.
If you haven't tried Charmin Ultra yet, you really must. You won't believe how good it feels. Only Charmin Ultra has such a unique, cushiony, soft surface to give you a comfortable, clean feeling every time. Lovely pattern. Wait till you feel it. Charmin Ultra. You won't believe it till you feel it.
Starting in tomorrow's 25p Mirror, everyone wins a World Wrestling Federation prize. Get your Insurrection game card in tomorrow's Mirror, all for just 25p.
If you could bank a feeling, what would it be? Come into Lloyd's TSB for a personal review. If we can't make you money or save you money, we'll give you £50.
Long live the friend who's there to welcome us home. Year after year after year.
I'm home. Where's the cat?
The food cats love most now has Life Care, proven to strengthen their immune system, giving them a healthier life for longer. New Life Care in Whiskers. Long live cats.
And then there's this guy, the dreamer. Champion of the Dream Club.
What are you drinking?
As usual. He drifts off with questions and wakes up with answers.
I've just had the weirdest dream.
It's a gift. Tonight's dream, the big question. The one we all ask. What's the meaning of life?
Elma, come on. You gotta go up.
Go on, you rascal. This is the Dream Club. Ladies and gentlemen, please charge your glasses.
Well, you could never have predicted this result, not in a million years. 56 points to 22. There were 14 tries in the match. 13 in this fixture last year. A magnificent win for Warrington Wolves. albeit against the 12 men of St Helens. They had Paul Newlove sent off in the first half. Well, the man of the match is Alan Langer, the Warrington Wolves captain. He wins the Tissot watch. We're going to hear from his coach, Darrell van der Velde, in a moment. But first, Langer with Bill.
Alan, congratulations. Man of the match award goes to you. There's the watch that goes with it. After all the problems this club has had in recent weeks, this win must be ever so sweet.
Yeah, it's great for the club and great for the fans. They really turned up tonight and their numbers, and it was great for them to see plenty of tries, but certainly helps when you're only playing against 12 men.
Yeah, people will say that, and that they'd also rested players, but nevertheless, you have beaten the World Club champions tonight, the Super League champions.
Yeah, well, that's right, but they didn't have their full side out. But getting back to our team, it was a great performance, and a performance we needed, and it was great to score some tries out there.
Thanks a lot, congratulations. Alongside is coach Darrell van der Velde. Go on, give us a smile. We've been watching all night.
No, I'm delighted, mate. Really, started slowly, I thought, in the first half, a couple of soft tries, but we just hung in there and come up with some good work.
But I mean, the problems you've had even this week with Steve Georgalis having to retire because of this Achilles tendon problem, and yet 3 wins in a row. It's some testament to the character here, isn't it?
Well, it is, and that's something. That's the players. To be fair, mate, they've got to take the credit for it. They've got to get there and do the business. So all the credit's got to go to them. We're just in this situation. We've had a couple of lean weeks, but the players have really turned it around, and that's our season now. We're going to make it. We're going to build from here, and hopefully we still push for a top 5 spot.
I think some of the credit goes to the coach, Darrell. Well done.
Thanks very much, Bill.
Well, Darrell's a winner, so too is Eileen Winker from Bradford. She's on her way to the grand final on the 13th of October this year. Now, this will be interesting. Ian Millwood's with Bill.
Ian, how do you react to a result like that?
Well, Warrington's been through a very traumatic period, and no one want to go through what they've been through, and their players have handled it great. They've won their last 3 games, and the better team won tonight.
You had a man sent off. You went into the game resting 4 players. Obviously that's contributed to what's happened tonight.
Oh, you can go through a lot of contributing factors why we didn't win tonight, but at the end of the day, the best team won. You know what I mean? I take my hat off to Warrington, and it's a long season.
Thought he might say something like that. It is a long season, long way to go yet, but this is Sean McRae on the eve of a Challenge Cup final at Twickenham against arguably the strongest team in the competition, the Bradford Bulls. Is a massive blow for him.
Well, it's not the game they would have wanted, but you've got to give credit where it's due, and Warrington were absolutely fantastic tonight. Whether the Newlove send-off or not would have made any difference, I don't know. But at 16-6, you'd have to say St Helens were controlling the game. But, Warrington have just scored, 50 unanswered points, and it's just been absolutely magnificent. A crowd of over 8,000.
And the Warrington fans have stuck with them through thick and thin, and this is the thick.
They look like they're going to stay till the next game, the way they're staying. They don't want to go home, do they?
I think they're waiting for Steve-O because they want to know what the score is, Steve-O.
Yeah, well, they have problems here with the opticians, don't they? And as I said during the commentary, I don't know why they bother, because I hate them all. It's a simple equation, but they fully deserve it, as we've documented earlier, that it has been a lot of a problem time for this club, and I'm very, very pleased with them. And I think, okay, Newlove sending off had some effect on it, but I think even before then, before Newlove was sent from the field of play, I felt that Warrington, they just took command, especially with the 2 halfbacks.
Well, let's go down to Phil Clark. Final word from him. Phil, it must be a great night to be a Wolf.
It'll be a fantastic night out around Warrington tonight. I don't think St Helens will read too much into the game in preparations for next week's final. They'll just say, well, that's a blowout, we didn't go our way, and just completely forget it. But fantastic night for Warrington, and it really is the start of their season.
Yes, it most certainly is, and let's just confirm everything that's happened for you tonight. Wigan have won, so they're on top of the table now. And look what the win has done for Warrington. They've moved from 11th to 7th in the table. They're just outside the top 5. Wigan on top, Bradford, Hull, Saints, Leeds. What is going to happen then at the Boulevard tomorrow night?
It's going to be some game,
56-22?
Well, I just hope the fans turn up in numbers, and I hope the game's as entertaining as tonight. But certainly with that incident, I just hope there's 2 good sides take the field, and we get an excellent game of rugby league. That's what we're looking for.
If it's as defensively frail as this has been tonight, you won't have many hairs left by tomorrow.
I hope it's not. I certainly hope it's not. They're going thick and fast, let me tell you.
Well, fantastic effort here tonight from Warrington, but tomorrow, Steve-O, 2nd against 3rd now in the table. Fantastic.
Well, it augurs well, doesn't it? It will be a great game, but let's find out whether you are resting anybody. Are you going to be full side, won't you?
We're pretty strong, and they're pretty strong. I think it'll be an excellent game of rugby league. two very good football teams taking the field, and we're really looking forward to the challenge. And you know, obviously Bradford are as well, and it's a chance to climb that ladder again.
Like the old days at the Boulevard, isn't it? I mean, let's hope you're going to get 10,000 tomorrow night. Why shouldn't there be? Come on, if you're in the Hull area tonight, get out there and support it, just like the Warrington crowd have done here consistently throughout the course of this season. They've had nothing to shout about. The Boulevarders have.
I'm telling you, I know the Hull people, and they will turn out in their droves. And why not? It should be a great game.
And Bradford should travel as well.
Of course, it's a long time since Hull have been up there with the big guns, and I think they'll stay up there as well.
Well, I bet you're worried about that.
I'm in trouble now. We're some stripe.
Yeah, once Steve-O tips you, you're in a real mess. But don't forget, we have two more great live games for you on this Sky Sports tomorrow. We first of all go to Australia, to Toyota Park, Cronulla against the New Zealand Warriors. It's Saturday at 10:30 a.m. on Sky Sports 2. And we will be at the Boulevard with hopefully a massive crowd to see Hull against Bradford Bulls tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, right here again on Sky Sports 3. And that now is second against third in the table. Well, fantastic entertainment here at Wilderspool. We will get more of the same tomorrow. First of all from Australia, then from Sean and his boys and Brian Noble and his men at the Boulevard tomorrow night. Trust you'll join us then. Sean, thanks for being with us. Bye-bye.
Richie boy, I'm just going to go down to Sainsbury's, get some munchies. What do you want?
Some pasta salad or something.
Aye, try before you buy.
Yeah.
All right then. Are they sunblush tomatoes?
Yeah, they are.
Can I have a little tub of those?
Anything else?
See what would be nice? One of those green olives. A little knob of parmesan, darling. Oh no, I got it in my helmet. I'll save it for later. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye, Rich.
I'm starving. Are you not having anything?
No, mate, I'm not hungry.
Sainsbury's, making life taste better.
From the producer of The Matrix, Steven Seagal, DMX. Exit Wounds, cinemas April 27.
Hello, I'm Jackpot, with the news that this Saturday's lottery extra jackpot has grown to an estimated £10.5 million.
Coming up tomorrow, Manchester United against Manchester City and Sunderland against Newcastle. Both live and interactive, only on Sky Digital.
Collymore closing in! Liverpool lead in stoppage time! Kevin Keegan hangs his head. He's devastated.
Celebrating 10 years, this is Sky Sports. Sky Sports Centre. in association with Ford.
Wonderful finish.
Fantastic, sensational cut.
Absolutely superb. It's got to be stopped. It's over.
They've made their mark in the first championship battles of 2001.
3 titles have been decided, and already we know who's #1 in England and Scotland.
And Fulham lead the list of winners, already celebrating in the Football League.
Hello, so this week's been all about winners and those playing their part in the history of 2001.
But on this special 10-year anniversary edition of the Sports Centre, we look back at the best of the last decade here on Sky Sport.
I love football very much, but when I said I retired, I do envisage it for being for good. But I'm old enough and wise enough now to also never say never.
All that to come, plus the celebrations of 10 years on Sky Sports will continue throughout the programme.
But there are still issues to be settled this season. It's a big weekend at the bottom of the Premiership, and here's what's happening where.